Oh, good evening, and it is 7 p.m. in a weekday, and it's time for Map Show, and this is Map Show number 104, and it's exciting to have a very special guest all the way from Harare, Zimbabwe, and it's wonderful to be welcoming Primrose Hove all the way from Harare, and we've been journeying together since the year, or in fact, I think Primrose did the training or the Train the Trainer program in December 2011 or 2012. She will help us with the date, but I still remember the day and her arriving here in South Africa to do the training. And since then, she has engaged in Map for Life and done some exciting things in her life. And she is now known as Coach Primrose. Can you imagine? Coach Primrose from Harare. And tonight she's going to be speaking to us on a very exciting topic, which is titled Significance. And in fact, it's a little bit more than that. And she will give you the details of her topic. And I think the question she's asking is why I live by survival when you can live on significance, or something to that effect. So I'm really looking forward to hearing Primrose share this message with us today. I've had the privilege of listening to this message some time ago when we had one of our map cafes. It was so powerful that I really feel it is something special to share tonight. If you have a comment or an insight or a question that you would like to ask, please post it on the comment section. We'd love to engage with you. And when you do, let us know where you're from. Tell us what part of the world you are tuning in from. We'd love to recognize you for that and join in the conversation. So let's hand over to Primrose.
Good evening, everyone. This is Primrose. I'm your purpose partner and part of the Map for Life coaching community. I will start with a few questions which I want you to reflect on. Firstly, which life do you want to live? A life of survival or a life of significance? Why have you come? Why are you alive? And when you finally transition to glory, will the mere fact that we were living on planet Earth count? Or it is the difference that we have made to the lives of others that would determine the significance of the lives that we lead? So let me talk about the word significance as it relates to why we were created. So the first word is S, selfless. Now, people of significance are selfless rather than pursuing selfish gains. Selfish people command resources to fund their ambitions. Whereas if you are selfless, you actually use the resources, the skills, and the knowledge that you have to make a difference in the lives of others. So are you selfless or selfish? And then the next word is I, which is intentional. People of significance are intentional about what impact they want to have during their time on earth. It does not happen by chance. So when you are part of the Map for Life community, are you mapping your significance journey? The next letter is G, which is grit. Grit is passion. For me, it's perseverance to achieve long-term goals, which a survivor does not have. But People of significance have grit. They look at long-term goals and they pursue them no matter what. The next letter is N, which is no strings attached. While survivors and selfish people want to know what's in it for me, selfless people, they just do it for, for their own satisfaction and fulfillment. The next letter there is I, which is influential. Now, people of significance are people of influence. They influence people in their own spheres and even beyond. Look at, for example, Nelson Mandela. You know that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. But during his lifetime, he actually influenced a lot of things in his sphere of influence and even beyond. We talk about him even now. They build legacies, people of significance, unlike survivors who have no influence and therefore are insignificant. The next letter is F. People of significance, they have focus. They focus on solutions for the world. We are solution providers in our time. In Made for Life, we say we were created for a purpose that the world cannot do without. We just need to discover that purpose. We need to discover what God has already prepared in advance for us to do. So have you discovered your purpose? The next letter is I, which is integrity. Now, integrity is what sustains people of significance, whereas survivors cannot be relied upon to honor their word. People of significance have got integrity. The next letter is C, which is courageous. Now, significance requires courage, the courage to pursue goals no matter what. The next letter is A, which is aligned. People of significance are aligned to God's purpose. Like I said, God's purpose for their lives, which they discover. Whereas survivors or people of insignificance, they are aimless. All they want to do is to survive, and they can fall for anything goes. Are you aligned, or you are one of the anything goes? The next letter is N, which is nature. People of significance, they nurture others. They want others to grow. Whereas survivors have no time for investing in others. They are busy thinking about themselves. So what are you thinking about? Others or yourself? People of significance are champions, which is our next letter, C. They champion a worthy cause, a significant cause, which has got nothing to do with them. Whereas survivors defend their small, selfish cause. So what are you defending in your life? A good cause or a selfish cause? People of significance are empowering, which is our next letter, E. People of significance, they empower others to thrive rather than just survive. They actually find fulfillment when they see others surviving or also bringing significance into their lives. So my challenge to you is, are you going to be a person of significance, or you are going to live a life of survival? Challenge yourself to use your knowledge, your resources, your skills to make a positive difference in other people's lives. And with the Map for Life tool, you can map that. So let's map the world. Thank you.
Mangwanani, Salibonani, good morning. I am Coach Prem from Harare, Zimbabwe. This is my favorite hill where I jog every morning. So for me, Map for Life is making a positive difference in people's lives. I started using Map for Life in 2012, and this habit that you see today, it came because of Map for Life. My favorite quote is, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And thank you, Glenn, for influencing our lives. Be mapped.
Hey, Primrose, that was fantastic. Well done. So exciting to hear you share this powerful message. And whenever I listen to you, I learn something new. You inspire me. And I'm sure that the people who'll be watching this recording and this video are also going to be inspired. What was, as you were sharing the message this evening, what is your highlight, that maybe the really important point out of the ones that you shared?
So I think for me, the most important point is, like you always say, we were created for what the world needs. We are needed in our lifetime. So even as one lives their life, they need to make positive difference in other people's lives for them to be significant, rather than pursuing selfish gains. We are here for a purpose. We are here for a reason. Just like a tree, a mango tree is there to provide a fruit, mango fruit, or even to provide shelter in form of, when there is sun, you can actually go and stand underneath the mango tree. So for people, we need to, because we are living in a society, we need to be people of significance. I think for me, it's, what are we doing in this world? Are we fulfilling our purpose?
When you said mango tree, I was hearing mangwana ni. So I was just wondering. I was wondering if that's the origin of the greeting. Primrose, this word significance is so important, and we're living in a world where people are striving for success, but they find themselves in a place of struggle or place of survival. And the world has kind of taught us that we need to climb a ladder from survive. We need to get out the gutter is the term that people use. Get yourself out the gutter, start reaching some success, get the trophy, get the money, get the recognition. And people are striving for that. Yet it seems that significance is quite the opposite. And, you use that word selflessness, or dying to self, in a sense, surrendering to God's plan for your life. And that leads to significance represented by a seed that becomes a tree that produces fruit, that has more seed, that produces more trees and more fruit. I think that's really starting to talk about that question or that message where you linked it to legacy. And you used Nelson Mandela as an example. I thought I want to share a story. Maybe I've told you this before, but I used to drive past this village on the way to university when I was still a teenager. I started university when I was 17, and I used to drive. I wasn't driving. I would be taken. I'd have to get a lift. I wasn't old enough to drive yet. So I'd get a lift to university, and we would pass by a village with the name Kunu. And we would drive past this village, and every time I drove past it, I got angry because there were just 3 houses on the side of the road and nothing else. It was just grassland as far as you could see. And I thought to myself, what is the government doing, putting up a village sign and there's only 3 round houses on the side of the road? And it was only when Nelson Mandela's funeral was held and the world came to Kunu, to these 3 little houses on the side of the road. The whole world came there to celebrate his life, and it is where he was buried. And so when you talked about legacy, I realized that it doesn't matter where you start your life.
Yeah.
You could have been like Nelson Mandela, starting in the grasslands of South Africa, where there's very few people living, where all you see is grass and cows. And that's where he started his life. And when I'm always reminded by that picture that it doesn't matter where I am today, I can still do something of significance, and my life can count or it can matter. What are your thoughts relating to that?
Exactly, because in a life of significance, you really don't pursue what you don't have. You actually use what you already have, because Glenn, we were all created with talents, right? That we have as individuals, and each and everyone can actually use that talent to add value to other people's lives. It doesn't matter what type of a talent it is. The tragedy with people is that we want to compete with the next person. Now, and yet they are endowed with something that we don't have. All we need to do is look what is inside of us, because we're already packaged, right? For success, in a way, we are packaged to make a positive difference in others' lives. So we just need to use that which we already possess, that God has already given us, rather than competing with other people. I mean, imagine me competing with, for us, it's Kirsty Coventry in swimming. I mean, I can't, right? So, or even trying to compete with someone who is, a very good, whether it's in accounting or economics or whatever. So I just need to find my place, and I run in that lane. So my encouragement is that, find what is already inside of you and run with that. And you can actually give value to other people. Yeah.
I love that. Primrose, one of the stories that I've shared with many people, and you probably don't know that I share the story, because I share your story. Not the story that you told me, but the story that I witnessed, and that was when you came to attend the Train the Trainer program here in South Africa. You didn't allow any obstacles to stop you. You got on a bus. Some people would have said, I don't have enough money to buy an air ticket. I don't have a car, or whatever. They could have used many excuses, and I'm sure you had a whole list of excuses that you could have used, but you chose not to use them. And you got in a bus, you traveled through the night. I still remember Anne picked you up at the bus station and brought you to the training, and you sat through the training the whole day, even after being on a bus the whole night. Yeah. And that speaks to me of absolute commitment, conviction, the kind of thing that is necessary. And we need more people with your kind of fortitude, guts, courage, grit, these kind of words that you've been talking about this evening. I just want to say, well done. That was really great, a great
Thank
witness to courage and commitment.
Yeah.
As we, this particular subject is such an important subject, and the one word I failed to put up while you were talking was this one, influence or influential. And it was, this is when you were talking about legacy and so on. And you mentioned something that that our friend John Maxwell talks about, and he says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Um, and he also, there's also this idea that everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, from your perspective, what is it that you admire about the leaders that you, or what is it in a leader that you admire?
In leader.
In leaders, yeah. So you might have an idea of a leader or something out there, or a character trait that a leader has, or something that a leader does. Share something with us on that.
Okay. So leadership is influence, and like John Maxwell said, you need to win the hearts of people first before you can, you can ask them to do anything. And so one of the most admirable traits of a leader is their ability to influence others to go in a certain direction, or
Yes.
to achieve the results which are supposed to be achieved. And I think that's because they can connect with people. So it doesn't matter what level the people are at, because people are at different levels. They may also have diverse backgrounds. But if a leader is able to influence all those people to work as a team, and to look at one direction, to believe in the vision or the mission that they want to accomplish, that for me is very powerful. It's significance to me, because people can come to a place with different agendas, but if you are a leader who's able to bring people together with one agenda and do the things because of the values that you've inculcated in them, the way we do things here, if it's an organization, that is powerful in terms of leadership, and that's what I admire. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm going to take. What you said there is you talked about a leader needs to have a boy band, and the name of the boy band should be One Direction.
Yeah.
So I was immediately thinking about this idea of singleness of purpose, absolute focus. And Romeo from Canada, he's from Cameroon, but he now lives in Canada. He taught me in 2004. He said focus stands for follow one course until success. And I think we could change that S to significance. Follow one course until significance, because I think it's easy for people to be distracted.
Yeah.
And as we focus on this idea of leadership this year, I think it's important that we find more leaders that are focused on significance. I think there's many leaders that are focused on success, and they have the title, they have the position, they have the material goods, and a lot of people think of those as leaders. But as you've been sharing about influence, I've realized that a mother is a great influencer in the family. A father is a great influencer. A child influences their parents. Every time we do something, every time somebody can see us, we are setting an example, either good or bad. And so when you talk about influence, I think that we need to start looking at ourselves and saying that, maybe if I lead myself well, then I qualify to lead others well. And so this idea of personal leadership is a very important factor. And I think there's many people, they feel they've got to read books, they've got to maybe go and study a course on leadership. and perhaps they should have been born into royalty to be a leader. Or maybe they need to be friends of the president in the country. Some people say it's not what you know, it's who you know. All these kind of things. I've come to realize that if we just learn to lead ourselves well, and to lead yourself well, you need to have one direction. You need to have clear vision. You need to have a purpose that you are committed to. Something that makes your heart beat, and to, I think you used the word passion somewhere when you were talking this evening. Something that makes you that engages you passionately. I'm going to stop there. I see Del Marie is sharing, but you've also got something to talk about. I can see you've got something that you'd like to say.
Okay, so you've reminded, when you spoke about success, you reminded me of what Oprah Winfrey said. She said, "Don't worry about being successful, but just work towards being significant, and success will naturally follow." There are people who are successful but selfish, therefore not significant.
Yeah.
But if you work towards being significant or adding value in other people's lives, success will just naturally follow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's the one word that comes to mind is ambition.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have ambition, and it's been taught to us, I think, through our years of schooling, because only one child in every class comes first. All the others aren't even recognized. They disappear into the mist, and that's not the way God made the world to operate. He gave us each our own race, and we can do it at our own pace, and we guaranteed a win.
Yeah.
And so I think this whole discussion this evening and your message that you've shared so well is going to just allow us to start thinking more deeply about the importance of significance, and the fact that significance is opposite to success. It's not the next step. I was just sharing with someone earlier this week from Kenya, and I said, Maslow's hierarchy says we move from survival to stability, from stability to success, and then from success to significance, suggesting that you first need to be successful before you can be significant. And I disagree with that. I believe that's Maslow's mistake. And why I say that is because Maslow's hierarchy of needs is all about self-actualization. It's in contrast to what we're talking about. We're talking about dying to self. In other words, I had a wonderful quote that somebody shared with me today, and it was from Pablo. Is it Picasso?
Pablo.
Is that right? Let me just go, and I want to quote it as it is, and you will know it, because I think you've actually quoted it before to me. But it said, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." And that's what it is. It's kind of like Miles Monroe says, we need to die empty.
Yeah.
Make sure that when you get to the end of your life, you've got no treasure left inside. You've given it all away, so that in that way you can have or leave a living legacy. So I think Maslow has been well taught inside the workspace, but maybe there's that what you've been talking about tonight is being selfless, surrender or submit to God's plan. That leads to significance, and when you do that, the world changes. The world changes.
Yeah.
Primrose, have you got a last word that you'd like to share with before we end the show tonight?
A quote from Albert Einstein: everybody is a genius. But if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking that it is stupid. So to everyone who's watching and listening, you are a genius. You just need to find where your abilities are, and you can fly. You can be a person of significance, and you can find a fulfillment. So pursue that which is aligned to your purpose, your talents, and your abilities. Thank you, Glenn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Primrose, for this wonderful evening. And to everybody who's joined us, it's been wonderful having you. If you're watching this recording, please leave your comments and visit our website, the www.mapforlife.com. On there, you'll find Coach Prim or Coach Primrose. You'll be able to find her contact details, connect with her. If you're in Harare, of course, you'll be able to meet with her in person, but she is open to people joining and being coached by her from anywhere on the planet. If you have a Zoom, the ability to Zoom or internet connection, you can connect with Coach Prim, and I'd encourage you to do that. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening further. Let's go and live with significance. Good night.
Thank you, and good night, everyone.